luscious entry, glorious Beethoven on not such a glorious day. Miserable and miserable news. It's all sort of happening. I suppose everything's predictable now. But welcome. It's vk3sl. These are the calming missions, or I don't know what we can call them. We can try and think up a new name, I think. But back on board, and we're just testing, of course. That's the name of the game here on 160 and also on UHF and streaming online. If you feel like you'd like to listen to it in Phi, you can go and find a YouTube page dedicated to this program where we use modulated sound on the air and, well, some vestige of entertainment on the stream. So, as per usual, we'll start off with something from the 1920s. A 78 recording made in about 1928. I think it's the flip side of the record we played yesterday, featuring the Troubadours, and it's a track called Just Like a Butterfly. vk3sl.
Just like a butterfly that's caught in the rain, longing for flowers, dreaming of hours back in the sun-kissed lane. Just like a butterfly that's caught in the rain. I know that all of the world is dreary by that old cottage door. Why are my wings so weary? I can't fly anymore. Here I am praying, broken and saying, give me the sun again. Just like a butterfly that's caught in the rain.
Troubadours from 1928. And sorry, I did have the stream inadvertently patched in then, and so you got more noise upon noise, so it was a bit of a positive feedback loop, I'm afraid. But there we have it, our first offering for this afternoon, and these are test sessions where we sample historic recordings, typically.
And very nice too.
Ah, good to hear from you, Frank. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How was your day?
Oh, look, okay. Yeah, it's always a bit crazy, sort of looking at concentrating on this tiny screen, and some poor individual at the other end who's trying to engage and make sense of a remote lesson. But yeah, look, they're like stunned mullets, these poor kids. But I was teaching very young children for a lot of today. And so a number of them had their parents with them, so that was good.
Sort of 7, 8, 8, 9.
Oh, yes, 6, 7, 8, 9, yes, that sort of age group. Yep.
Great.
Yeah, really young kids, but they're terrific. They're great to work with. The younger the better, really, in terms of your creative prowess. You can be a bit crazy with young kids and find wonderful metaphors.
Wonderful. Yeah, that is terrific.
Yeah, that's always fun, and they always come up with great ideas.
Yeah, they're so uninhibited, aren't they?
They're so uninhibited, and as people get older, they become more and more constrained and toe the line, and become all that creativity is stamped out of them. But,
Right.
oh, never mind. But no, I do enjoy working with very young kids. If I had my time again, I wouldn't mind being a kindergarten teacher. I think that'd be a good job.
Look, it could be, you know.
Yeah, look, except for all of the accountability stuff and all the documentation, which I know a few kindergarten teachers, and I think it'd be it would just take all of the shine off the engagement. But when my kids were in kindergarten, I used every opportunity I'd go and take my cello along and practice in the yard.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun. The kids would just bounce up to you and say something crazy or ask a really mad question. And I just so enjoyed that experience, just seeing these kids in their imaginative worlds and, conjuring up impossible places and tales of whimsy. It was just marvellous. So, there was a bit of that today with some of these kids. I had a couple of kids who had some wonderful ideas. So, that's the story. And did you get out and about? Did you get out to do a walk today?
No walking. Kathy went for a bit of shopping, and I didn't. And I did a bit of shack tidying.
Oh, yes.
And a bit of catching up with people on the phone.
Yes.
Oh, I was talking to Jamie.
Oh, very good.
He sends his best wishes,
Oh, nice.
of course.
Yes, great.
He listens sometimes. When
Yes.
he listens after work, he puts down the hot computer and turns it off and
Okay.
enjoys the missions.
Oh, very good. Nice to hear. Well, a warm hello to you, Jamie, if you're listening in. So, that's great. Well, I think, look, everything sort of narrows itself, doesn't it? You know, our worlds become our homes and the environs. We don't have much scope to do much else.
The days are so similar. It almost seems, you know, from one night to the next night, doesn't seem like we've had 24 hours. Yeah. This is one of the problems, is that suddenly life just disappears, evaporates when the days are too similar. And I think we have to find creative ways to find some variety. And variety is what it's all about, doing something that you can look back and say, well, now, this is what I did, and I hadn't done that for a while.
Yeah. I never forget years ago when we were doing those really long walks. And, as you know, I did a few walks of over 2 months.
Yes,
wonderful. And one was over 3 months. But every day was completely different environment, different horizons, different stimuli. It was so different that those periods seemed like a lifetime in themselves.
Yeah.
And time really does slow down when you've got plenty of variety and change. So, there's an object lesson there, I think. But... Yes.
Well, I read just recently that it's one of these sort of sayings that you get on the backs of cards and things.
Yes.
You don't remember days, you remember moments.
That's a good point. Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Yes, certain moments just have a totality about them, and that can be good. Well, we'll move back into the World Program Service transcription array, and we can sample a few more of these. There's plenty here to choose from, and they're all sort of interesting names of groups. They're all unknown to me, and some of them I've looked up, and they're sort of second-tier artists, it seems, but not by listening. It's they sound fantastic. But look, one we played the other day, and I'm keen to return to it, and that's that record of Les Paul. Now, I'm mindful of the fact that our Pineapple Farm correspondent might be listening, and I think he likes Les Paul.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pineapple.
Yeah, so I don't know. I reckon I just can't remember what track we played. I think there's 5 on this.
I was listening.
Oh, okay. It must have been maybe a couple of weeks back.
I would have remembered, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it was Les Paul and his trio.
Oh, Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it's sort of an instrumental trio, and it's a little bit different to the sort of stuff he did later. So anyhow, but it was great music. So I just can't remember what we played, but look, I suppose it doesn't really matter. We can certainly repeat tracks.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll give you the choice.
All right.
And we've got Just Me, which is instrumental. We've got Avalon, instrumental. Caravan, they're all instrumental. Caravan, Sleepy Time Gal, and Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Now, I seem to remember that we did play Caravan last time, I think. But anyhow, if you want to choose any of those, we can go with the flow.
Let's go Sleepy Time Gal.
Sleepy Time Gal, it's track D. So bearing in mind these are locked grooves, so I have to get my nudging technique together here. And I'm trying one of these Autophon cartridges I've reinvigorated with the rubbery new product. And these cartridges had all seized up. And
were they unusable before?
Yeah, they're completely stuffed. They were not usable. So this has been quite a revelation, actually. So we'll give this a go. And Sleepy Time Gal in track 4. And I'm hopeful, ever hopeful. Here we go. We go with a peep at the end. There's Paul and his trio. And I thought that captured the spirit very, very well of that song. It was nice to hear.
Yeah, very smooth.
Very smooth indeed, yeah.
I think that was one of the albums they played on this Magic of Microgroove program that I was telling you about on 3AW in the very early 50s.
Really?
Certainly there was a Les Paul.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued by that program. You got me investigating. I sat down and looked up Magic of Microgroove and I was trying to find any existing episodes that may be out there in Radio Land.
It was hosted by a guy called John Masters.
Okay, John Masters.
He was very smooth with a rather plummy accent.
Oh, yes. Good. Well, you never know. Somewhere out there, maybe someone's got an episode stashed away. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, maybe Jamie has. I don't know.
Maybe he does. It'd be good. The Magic of Microgroove. What a name for a show.
Oh, well, it really was magic.
Yeah.
We hadn't, he put on a track and go for 15 minutes.
Oh, that's extraordinary. And it just would have been such a sonic bath for people as well after hearing the sounds of shellac, hearing something that was so beautifully recorded.
Even on AM radio, the quality was discernibly better.
Right. Yeah, interesting. I can imagine. Oh, look, they're probably using exactly the same cartridges as we're using here.
That's right.
So yes, we've got this. This is no, it's not microgroove actually. These are standard groove records. These transcription discs, but yes, it's quite an authentic setup with the Bayer and the Autophon and the old table. Well, we can play another one from this disc.
Please.
I think these are worth a listen, and maybe I'll have a listen to track one, the first track on the album, and it is called Just Me.
Just me, just you. I know.
Okay, we know the song. Well, let's hear vk3sl and vk3jr test missions. He's really on the pulse with the ride-outs, isn't he?
Certainly is. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. I don't know that one. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's good. He's as you say, it's very smooth. It's just that it's of its time, but it's quite different to the stuff he was doing later, isn't it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, the stuff with Mary Ford was commercial hit stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was what caught my attention because of the multiple recordings, partly.
Yeah.
And not only did he multiply record, but he used the guitar to get all sorts of effects.
Right.
He used delay and he used reverb, and he got the guitar to make unusual sonic noises.
Right. Okay. So he sort of pioneered a lot of those, value adding and of different sounds and sound worlds to electric guitar playing. So he's, in one sense, it's really significant when you think of how that all unfolded in the ensuing generation with rock music.
There's a track on the big hit he had was "How High the Moon."
Yeah, yeah.
And I bought that, as I bought all the others, and with my pocket money.
Yeah.
And the other side of that was a track called "Walkin' and Whistlin' Blues."
Oh, right.
And he got this sound allegedly out of the guitar. It was sort of a whistling sound.
Oh my goodness, how interesting! So he did it electronically.
Yes.
Oh, Walkin' and Whistlin' Blues. I reckon that deserves a look up. I'll see.
It should probably be there somewhere.
I reckon it would. Well, while I do some investigation, we'll hear another track from the same disc. It's Avalon. This is a bit of a
It's nice.
a favourite. It's a famous song. I think Benny Goodman or someone recorded it originally, but in this instance, Les Paul. was wondering who was going to finish first then. It was Avalon.
Yeah, that's right.
Les Paul and his trio. And yeah, it's quite nice to hear these recordings. Now, I think I've dialed up your selection.
Well, you found it. That's
yeah,
good.
I think it's Walking and Whistling Blues. That's the name of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll continue with that now. So I presume this is, well, maybe half a generation later. I don't know.
1950.
Oh, okay. Well, it's probably around about the same time. So it'll be interesting to hear. Anyhow, it's on an old Capitol, and it's been uploaded here, and it's got Mr. Paul and Mary Ford both looking very exuberated.
This is just the instrumental. She doesn't sing, but she sings on the other side.
Okay.
Was probably her biggest hit, How High the Moon.
Okay, sure. Great. All right. Well, let's have a listen to Walkin' and Whistlin'. I think he's walking around in circles, Frank.
He just is. That whistling, I think that's not electronic. I think he's doing that with his mouth.
You reckon? It sounds like it.
Yeah, I think he is.
I can't imagine doing it on... I was trying to visualise how he might be doing it on the guitar. But
yeah, I know.
Could you use a bow? I've seen a bow with a saw.
A saw, that's right.
Yeah, or you could go right up high on the instrument, up to the stratosphere. See if I can do something like that on the cello here.
Oh, wow.
See.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that, I don't know.
That was very similar, but I think I could detect some breath in with what was happening.
Yeah, I thought so too. But yeah, no, some stratospheric sounds there from Les Paul.
That's terrific.
I wonder if he was multi-tracking there, because he had a few parts. But Mary Ford, she played guitar as well, of course, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
When you were just doing that, did you have much control over what notes you'll play?
Oh, very little. If I have to play right up on the bridge,
Yeah.
and if I rotate my finger, I've got about an interval of about a fourth just by moving my finger backwards and forwards.
Okay.
I could work on the technique. I think it'd be fun to learn. But it's a
Sounds very impressive.
well, I don't know. I could try a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could try and use a bit longer bow.
Oh, that's terrific. Stratospheric.
Yeah, it sort of can make artificial harmonics.
Yeah.
I'll play around with it. I remember playing a piece years ago which had a seagull effect, and the seagull effect was by doing this.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, that sounds terrific.
I think it was a piece by Sarah Hopkins.
That's your seagull, all right?
And if you have 10 players all doing that, it really creates a seaside ambience.
Yeah.
And of course you've got your cow.
Oh, that's very good too.
No, see, we used to have games with the kids playing, making sound effects, and you'd make up a story, and you'd just sort of follow on with all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. And of course, the crashing into everything here, but the boys used to love the sound of the racing cars. So you can sort of create
Great stuff.
all manner of crazy sounds.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyhow, there we go. All came from Les Paul. Yay.
Yeah.
Now, something else from that same stash took my attention, and I'm trying to find it here. And here it is. It says 3 bows and a beep and a peep. Says.
Oh, Bo Peep, yeah.
Yeah, so 3 bows and a peep. Now, it happens to be another vocal trio. So I don't know who these people are. It's well, maybe the Fontaine sisters again. I don't know, but I haven't looked them up. But have a listen to this. It sounded pretty good. And I just had a very short sample in the 5 minutes before the program started. And it's another of this series. Could be a pseudonym. They could be out there. I don't know who they are and what they did. But it's worth a listen.
There are 4 of them.
Maybe. Yes.
3 bows and a peep.
That's true.
4.
Yeah.
Wonderful, marvelous, you should care for me. Supple nights, paradise, it's what I love to see. You've made my life so glamorous.
You can't blame me for feeling amorous.
Oh, it's wonderful, it's marvelous that you should care for me. Darling, you've made my life so glamorous. How can I keep from feeling amorous? Oh, it's wonderful, it's marvelous that you should care for. It's wonderful, it's marvelous that you should really care for me.
There we go. 3 bows and a peep.
Wow, they're pretty tight.
They are. And they did record under that name, and I don't think they are a pseudonym. I think they were an existing ensemble. Look, by the looks of the a quick search on the subject, but I can't find any biographical information, so we'll just have to leave it at that for the time being.
Really good. But
there's heaps. They made lots of records for MGM in the early 50s, so sort of post-war, Andrew's Sisters style, but it's great, really good. So I don't know what the other tracks are like. Maybe we can play another one, have a listen as well, but they had a nice upbeat vibe to it.
You got a bloke in there?
Yes, he might be the peep.
He'd be the peep?
Yeah, I reckon he might be. So I think the stylus needs a clean. I'm going to find my little brush here because some of these are very dusty.
I used to tend to wreck Starlight cleaning them, so I found this device that you just had to rest the stylus on this little pad and flick a switch and it vibrated.
Oh, what a good idea. So it just sort of shook the crap off it.
It did exactly that.
How interesting. Okay.
A little battery in it.
Yeah.
Little buzzy thing.
Yeah, sure.
It seemed to do the job.
Yeah, very good. Oh, that would be a good way to go. I've got to be so careful here. I've got a little camel hair brush and just have to give it a very gentle persuasion. And but a number of these records haven't been cleaned forever, and they are so dusty and covered in fingerprints and things. So anyhow, we'll hear another one now. I'll let you choose. I'll give you the order, and there's only 3 of them. There's Enjoy Yourself. It's Later Than You Think. Oh, I quite like the sound of that one. And Street of Dreams.
It's got Enjoy Yourself.
Yeah, Enjoy Yourself.
It's got a very lyric with a meaning which becomes increasingly meaningful as one gets older.
Oh, really? I'll have to hear this for sure.
Listen, here's what we've got to say to you. Hey, listen to a little sound advice about a thing you ought to do. You work and work for years and years, you're always on the go. You never take a minute off, too busy making dough. Someday you say you'll have your fun when you're a millionaire. Imagine all the fun you'll have in your old rocking chair. Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in the pink. The years go by as quickly as a wink. Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think. Enjoy yourself.
Hey, before I came to this here town, I lived in them there hills. I made an honest living making brand new dollar bills. The revenuers came one day and said, boys, put on that gun. Let's open up a jug of corn and really have some fun. Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in a pink. The years go by as quickly as a wink. I said, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think. Enjoy yourself.
Now another birthday's here and gone, you've turned another page, and suddenly you realize that you've reached middle age. Just think of all the fun you've missed, it makes you kind of sad. It's better to have had your wish than to have wished you had.
Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in the pink. Remember, when you leave this world, you won't be coming back. Relax, take it easy, you'll have a heart attack.
Go ahead, kiss the boys, they'll love it.
Don't be afraid to drink. Enjoy yourself, cause brother, it's much later. Much, 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 much later than you think.
Definitely a message for us all there, Frank.
That had verses I've never heard before.
That's great. Now, bring on the missions. That's what we've got to do.
That was terrific.
We've got to savour the moment. And
that was really good.
It's a good song. Yeah, 3 bows and a peep. Oh, I love it. There's more. In fact, on this disc, there's got extra tracks featuring Ed McCurdy and his Rhythm Pals. Now, I'd have no idea about this group, but... what do you reckon, Frank? Should we give one a whirl?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on the banks of that lonely river, we've got Captain Kidd, sea chanty with vocal, and the Gay Spanish Maid, bright comedy foxtrot with vocal.
I like the idea of the great Spanish maid.
I reckon she deserves to be heard. Yes, let's have a listen to Mr. McCurdy and his Rhythmic Pals. I think we're right. I've got to do a bit of a stand-up missions here to get that centre track in. I think we're ready.
'Twas a gay Spanish maid at the age of 16. Through the valley she roamed far and wide. Beneath a beech tree she sat down for a rest, with her gay gallant youth by her side. My ship sails tomorrow, my darling, he cried. Together we ramble no more. So tonight when your parents retire for to rest, will you meet me tonight, love, on shore? That night when her parents retired to rest, lovely Annie stepped out the hall door. With her hat in her hand she ran down to the sand, and she sat on a rock by the shore. The moon had just risen from over the deep, where the sea and the sky seemed to meet. Not came from the deep, but a murmuring wave, and it broke on the sand at her feet. That night it arose to a terrible storm, and the good ship went down in the storm. He swam to a plank that escaped from the wreck, while the rest met a watery grave. He returned to his love he had left on the shore. How she thought of her boy in the storm. She died like a rose that is called by the frost, and she left him in sorrow to mourn.
Okay, there we have it.
Well, you can't with them all.
No, that's right. That was slightly a bit of a low ebb there, but never the mind. You've got to test the water.
Well, yeah.
And
So it was all right. But,
that's all right, but yes, there's all manner of material here, and some of it has slightly higher, I don't know, aesthetic value. Now, here's one here of David Rose and his orchestra. I did sample this, and this is great instrumental palm corp music. It's just larger than life, wonderful stuff. And I love hearing concert music played by big orchestras with a popular aspect to it. So,
How much was played in the 50s of David Rose?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you're familiar with his music?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a good, solid orchestral sound and big, flourishing arrangements, and for me, that does tick the box. I'm a great one for light music when it's played well.
Yeah.
And,
well, he did. He did very good arrangements, of course.
Yeah, sure. I wonder if he did his own. He possibly did.
I sort of assumed, yes.
Yeah, usually the case. Okay, well, let's have a listen to one of his tracks. The one is called Dance of the Pyramids. So, back to Egypt. vk3sl. Well, it's one thing about a dry acoustic. It reveals how damn good the ensemble is.
Yes, it certainly does.
They were tight as. And, but it's such a sort of thing for the times to record in these really dry acoustics. It's sort of... It's almost intimidatingly. You feel like you're in the group. I do. I'm sort of used to having a bit of ambience in the sound.
Well,
but,
especially with strings, you sort of it sort of, I don't know, it just welds it all together. It doesn't go into a mush, but it gives it a little bit of a sort of a background.
Yes, it does. And it gives it a bit of a lift when you've got some ambience. And in that case, it was almost sort of omnipresent. But,
I know.
But look, it was interesting to hear a bizarre arrangement. I have no idea what it came from. It must be, maybe it's from some lost silent film or a scene from Ben-Hur or something.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Anyway, David Rose and his orchestra, The Weird and the Wonderful. Yeah, we're sampling these old program discs. Now, I'm pleased to say that I had a chat with a negotiation talk with Olivia before, because she's now nicked all of the decent popular vinyl from this room. She's really enjoying it, which is fantastic. And but I did negotiate to borrow back the album of Nina Simone. So I thought it'd be nice to play one of these tracks. So this is a great album. It came out in the 70s, I think. It's sort of later Nina, I would guess. But it has got a great picture in the back and a photo of her as a young child, or as a 12-year-old. And then it's got something written in her writing, and it says here, and I presume this is a quote because it's sort of written in a child's writing on the picture. It says, "All music is what awakens within us when we are reminded by the instruments. It is not the violins or the clarinets, it is not the beating of the drums, nor the score of the baritone singing, his sweet romanza, nor that of the men's chorus, nor that of the women's chorus. It is never and farther than they." Lovingly, Eunice Wayman, who
That's her name.
That's her name, yeah, Nina Simone. Age 12, it says, under her name. So,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah, so I'm presuming it's a quote.
It's something she's written for sure.
Yeah, so quite special. Well, one of my fave tracks from this album, I do remember this album from when I was young, is Mr. Bojangles, and I think she's referring to Bojangles of Harlem, the tap dancer.
There's a song called Mr. Bojangles.
Yeah, that's right, and I think that's what we're going to hear. So
by a guy called Jerry Jeff Walker.
Oh, right, okay, he might have sung it first, and then, yeah. All right, we'll listen to her cover of that song, and it's a very evocative performance. It really is something very special. So let's hear Nina Simone.
I knew a man, Bojangles, and he danced for you. Worn out shoes, with silver hair, a ragged shirt and baggy pants. The old soft shoe. Jumped so high, jumped so high. Then he lightly touched down. I met him in a cell in New Orleans. I was down and out. He looked at me to be the eyes of age as he spoke right out. He talked of life, talked of life. He laughed and slapped his leg a step. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. He said his name, Bojangles, then he danced a lick. Across the sand, he grabbed his pants, a better stance. Oh, how he jumped up high. He clicked his heels. He let go alive. Let go alive. He stood up and shook back his clothes all around. He danced for those at minstrel shows and county fairs throughout the South. He spoke with the tears of 15 years, how his dog and he traveled about. His dog up and died. He just up and died. After 20 years, he still grieved. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles,
Nina Simone.
he said, I dance now at every chance in honky-tonks for drinks and tips. But most of the time I spend behind these county bars. He said, I drink a beer. He shook his head, and as he shook his head, I heard someone respectfully ask, please, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles,
There we go. I think it has actually finished now.
I thought it had before.
So did I. I was about to back announce it. So, yeah, that's late, Nina Simone.
Yeah, that's a really nice song.
It's a beautiful song.
The writer said that it happened. He met this guy in jail and wrote about it.
Oh, really? Okay. So there's a real story behind that.
Real story.
Oh, marvellous. Yeah, it's a beautiful story. And, quite a special. I grew up with that recording. And, it's not the sort of really illuminated jazz material. It's like she's a little bit like Nat King Cole. So I think she went quite commercial later on.
Oh yeah.
But look, they all did that, and it was a band. But still, we get it certainly at the she characterises the song beautifully. So,
I've never heard multi-track before.
Yeah, it's interesting what they were doing there. I was trying to sort of find out what was going on. I was reading there's not much information on the cover, but it was recorded by RCA in the early 1970s, I think.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's very nice.
It's good. And I'll negotiate with Olivia to keep the record here for a few more days, and we might play some more soon as well. Now, I've got to go in and check the roast. I've been given explicit instructions. So what I might do is I had listened before to a recording suggested by Mr. W. We were talking about the Carpenters the other day, and he said, "Don't overlook Superstar." And I did have a listen, and it's a beautiful song. It's magnificent, wonderful.
Yes, so I know it. I've got it actually on the record.
Right. Okay. It's great. So definitely deserves to be played. So let's have a listen to the Carpenters, Superstar. And I will be listening, but I've also got to go and stir the peas and turn the pumpkin and all that. So, yeah, let's continue.
Yes.
Long ago, and oh so far away, I fell in love with you before the second show. Your guitar, it sounds so sweet and clear, but you're not really here. It's just the radio. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do. Loneliness is such a sad affair, and I can hardly wait to be with you again. What to say to make you come again? Come back to me again and play your sad guitar. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do.
And just got back in time. I was listening inside. Beautiful song, Superstar, the Carpenters. And that's for Mr. W. So, yes, they had a few big hits, didn't they? The
They
Carpenters.
did. There was some really... The arrangements were all done by her brother,
Yes, that's right.
who was a very good musician.
Yeah. I was reading about them before, and they were inseparable, really. They artistically collaborated a lot together,
Did,
from
they
what I
did.
gather.
He was the brains behind the outfit.
Sure, yeah, interesting.
Of course, she had her own demons with her health.
Yes, it sounds like she had a really traumatic period, and I don't think she's with us anymore, is she?
No. She died of the after effects of her not bulimia. What's the other one?
Oh, anorexia.
Thank you.
That's right. Yes, it was a really sad story. Yeah.
She actually stopped being anorexic, but it had gone too far.
Right.
And she did some damage to her internal organs.
Oh, it's really sad. It's something quite. She's got a beautiful softness about her voice.
A lovely softness and gentleness and subtlety, really.
Yes, it's very felt singing. There's something very genuine
and vulnerable. You know?
Yeah, that's right. Definitely. It's interesting. So yeah, I've sort of reacquainted myself a bit with them now. I will go and get the Carpenters record off the shelf and have a listen to it. Yeah, Olivia left that one behind, but I'll check it out. Yeah, for sure.
I have to confess, I went for them playing them back. I think a lot of them don't appeal so much to me now, but at the time I bought all their albums and.
Great.
As you say, dotted through there are some really tracks that really still stand up. You know?
Sure. Another group that's really sensitive, I think, is Peter, Paul and Mary. Some of this.
Wonderful stuff. I was going to say, did you hear, while you were away, Dave played a concert?
Yes, I heard that. And it was excellent. It was one. In fact, that sort of brought it back to the fore for me.
Me too.
Yeah, it sort of prompted an evening of listening to Peter, Paul and Mary on YouTube and seeking out performances.
It was terrific.
Yeah, but
I read, prompted by that, I read about them and what had happened after to them. I was particularly interested in Peter Yarrow.
Yes. So he had a conviction, of course, didn't he?
He had a conviction, and I kind of imagined that had been the end of him musically, but it certainly wasn't. It's all on Wikipedia, and which never lies, of course. And but it's fascinating reading. He did a whole lot of things.
Yes, he was able to reinvent himself. And I think he did his time, and he admitted these errors, or his indiscretions. I mean, they're pretty bad.
They were.
So he can't sort of, forgive that sort of behaviour easily. But look, I think yes, he was able to reinvent himself, and he seems like he was a very, a musician with a heart and with a message,
social conscience,
and a very strong social conscience. Yeah, well, that's right. Notwithstanding his impulses, but look, it's interesting how that all transpired. But I think they stayed fairly close. I don't know if they performed again after that, but
I think they found it difficult to recapture the public. I think Peter's thing did a lot of damage to that.
Yeah, understandably, because there's a sort of innocence about their performance too, and that's
it. That was impossible to recapture.
Yeah, I think you're right. But they did have a 25th anniversary concert, and
did they?
Yeah, they did. So and
is that available?
Yeah, it's online. In fact, I'll play a snippet from it now, and if I can.
Yes, please.
Yeah. This is because I'm just loading it up now. Wait a minute, it's going to take me a moment. Yeah, and of course she died of cancer, didn't she? Not
Mary Ellen Travers. Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. And I talking about vulnerability in singers, and we sort of spoke about this with Billie Holiday the other day, and now
Mary Carpenter.
Yeah, that's right, and. So Mrs. Travers as well, Mary Travers, she also has that sort of that soft edge, that sense of wonder, almost childlike quality.
She does,
and I think that's very beautiful. So look here, this is from the 25th anniversary concert, and it's "Where Have All the Flowers Gone," which was one of their very big hits.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah, but let's have a listen to them.
I've actually got to go, so I'll sign now.
Yeah, sure.
vk3sl often clear, but I will stay and listen.
Okay, that's fine. And look, I don't know if I'll be around tomorrow until late. I'd like to come up tomorrow, but it'll have to be about 5:45, even just before 6. When I might make it just a short mission and then play Thunderbirds. But I have got some school stuff to do tomorrow until about after 5:30.
Fine, I'll keep a listen out anyway.
Yeah, so look, it won't be starting at the usual time, that's for sure. So anyhow, we'll see how we go. And if I don't make it, I don't make it, but it should be all fine for Friday. So thank you, Frank. Always good to chat.
Thank you, likewise.
Yeah, and we'll speak again soon. And let's have a listen now to Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Peter, Paul and Mary from their 25th anniversary concert.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? And where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Long time ago. Nice. Where have all the young girls gone? To young men, everyone. Gone to young men, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Have all the young men gone? Where have all the young men gone? Long time past, where have they gone? Where have all the young men gone? Soldiers, gone for soldiers, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? And where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Gone to flowers, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the flowers gone? Where have all the flowers gone? Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever
It's Peter, Paul and Mary from their 25th anniversary concert, recorded in 1986. And I think we might hear some of them in their zenith from the early 1960s. Let's hear them singing the music of Mr. D.
How many roads must a man walk down before they call him
must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? How many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea. Sing it with us. And frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. A little louder. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Yeah, together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail, and Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whene'er they came. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Sing it now. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Good fault. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. A dragon lives forever, but not so little boys. Painted wings and giant's rings make way for other toys. One gray night it happened, Jackie Paper came no more. and Puff, that mighty dragon, he ceased his fearless roar. His head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave. So Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. The last time now, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Annalee.
Folk inspiration. That was Peter, Paul and Mary live in 1965. And this is vk3sl testing on 160 and also on UHF tone tests. And we'll finish up with another inspired performance from that ilk as well, another folk favourite. And this one is The Seekers with, I think it's another Bob Dylan song, The Times They Are A-Changing.
What's that?
That? Oh, I can tell you all about that. Overlooking Canberra's proud new civic square is a gigantic lady named Ethos. She symbolises the spirit of the community.
Well, she doesn't exactly symbolise the spirit of some of the communities that I know.
Well, I think what the book really means is it's the spirit of an ever-changing world.
Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesy with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing.
Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled.
There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing.
Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command.
Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changing.
The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing.
The Seekers from 1965. This is VK3sl testing, and we'll shortly defer to an episode of the Thunderbirds. Now, I just will need to turn off the stream. If you happen to be listening on the stream, feel free to go to the secondary streaming service. I think all has been said. I think most people know where that is, if you feel inclined. Otherwise, it's all on YT anyhow. So, without any further ado, and I should also mention, stream listeners, that we will not be doing missions tomorrow night until possibly about 5:45 or 6 o'clock, and we'll probably make it a shorter session if we can. If I'm delayed, I won't be able to do it tomorrow, but I've got school stuff at that